Welcome to the video. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name's Brian. It's a shop where we work on cars quite a bit of the time. I call it Hog Shooter Hot Rods. And today we're going to get going in a bunch of window craziness. I know last videos were all about running boards, and I've got one more of those coming out. But today we're going to talk about power window kits, and I've got this set up here. You can see it's got quite a bit of dust on it, but I assure you, you can still buy this same kit, and it comes from a company called Balls. Okay, it's ballsrodandcustom.com. Comes with simple one-sheet directions, which you have to tailor it to whatever you're going to work on. Whatever kind of door you're going to put this in, you have to build kind of the pieces to make it work. We're doing it in a 35 Chevy that has nothing on the inside of a door. So this is the entire window regulator, motor, the guides, everything right here. So it's super simple. All you have to provide is a mounting location for this motor, and it's pretty much rigid right here. So all this has to stay. But we can vary the height of this thing. You got these little spots, and you just have to cut it somewhere. You can cut it here, or if it was even shorter, you could cut it there to get the thing to where it'll all stay stuck together. As this track is spot welded inside, this track right here, and those little divots on the other side are the spot weld marks. So in my video, I take this and we cut it off right above here, and it's still, that track is retained in two other spots here, so we're good. Then also you have your lower window sash or channel that this glues on, or you can use an adhesive. They have some other material that is window setting compound to put in there. It's kind of almost looks like tape. Yeah, to stick that glass in. The thing is, you want your glass permanently mounted to this piece, so when you're rolling up and down, if it fits tight in the window tracks or it gets a little bit off, your window doesn't come out of this part. You want it permanently attached there. You can see when this is all together, you're going to end up with it. And you even have a choice of bolting locations here where you can bolt it at the top, or you can move that down and you can bolt it at the bottom. So really straightforward for most installations. You just have to have enough room to be able to get this stuff set up and going into the door. Their kit also comes with wiring. So you have the driver's side switches and the passenger side switch, all bundled together, already pre-done up. So all you have to do is make a couple of connections there. Everything is color coded, and you have your wires that plug into the actual bottom of the window motor. Something that I did make sure of is that I plugged these in and made sure that they would still go up and down, because yeah, the box is postmarked like 2010 or 11. Guess you got to turn this the right way to get it to plug in there. So it goes in, snaps in, stuff goes up and down, everything works right. It's great. So, hey, we're going to get right into the video, and everything I'm doing here applies to this 35 Chevy, but rest assured, you could put this in any door and get it to work. As long as the car has electricity, you'd be able to make it happen. Another day out here, and another day, another door, right? So what I've got is the right-hand door off of the 35 Chevy. So while we were building the left-hand door, I kind of wrote down measurements and tried to set myself up so I could build this door as easy as possible. When I pulled it in, this whole piece right here was not welded on. except for up in this corner. So I just went ahead and took that all off there to make it easier to fabricate and put a nice channel in there. I have my other piece fabricated, a hole drilled and in here, so you can kind of see that. All this stuff's just kind of guesswork when you start out, but you can see I've left a tab back here so that I'll be able to put a hole in the top of this, put a little screw going through there with a flat head, like a, you know, a screw that's not going to stick out. So that'll go in, that'll be my window track all the way down. Everything will line up nice there. I've been working on building this corner. I've taken and I've thrown a few away because I wasn't happy with them. This one, the bend was nice, but it was too short. So here's kind of where I'm at over here. I TIG welded everything in the other door. This one I've MIG welded everything, but you just got to have that track built. I'm not going to touch it because it's super hot right now. I did, in true fashion of starting a new project, I cut my finger on a grinder, which, oh, that's not that bad. I've got this track already made for this side of it. I did measure most of this, and I may not have to do near as much fabrication on this door. It did get really rusty, as you can see. This is just like raw body filler on here, so all that'll have to go away. I'm worried about just getting my window track all in it. Then we'll build our pieces to mount the window motor and put our bear claw latches in it. So just like the other door, I've already fabricated all this. The bear claws bolt in, everything latches on the car good. Just gotta wrap a few things up.
Let's check out this master bedroom. So right now this is the bedroom with the closet on it. There's a bathroom right here that's 10 feet long, 6 feet wide. And then there's another bedroom here with a closet. Well, we're proposing to make these two rooms and a bathroom into the master bedroom with a bathroom and a closet. This is just their first little run through. I'll be completely honest, I don't like it. Stuff can fully be changed right now. This is just some basic ideas. My concerns are having the bathroom and adding this up into the attic, so that way you walk right out of the master bedroom, straight up into the attic. And so if people are up in the attic, the man cave studio area, I don't even know what we want to call it yet.
But get back down there.
Not 98 pounds.
Every so often.
right, so you can see I have my window track fabricated. It's just really simple stuff. I do need to put a couple more tack welds on the bottom of this, or spot welds, whatever you want to call them. Piece of channel is 5/8 inch wide by 9/16 tall. That way our window felt will like swedge in there. We're using products from Steel Rubber Company. They're pretty much a well-known company in the street rod industry. And you can see that little hole there that lines up to hold this thing in place. In our U channel, I did have video of doing a bunch of welding and grinding inside of this thing, because I had to make sure we got the right width and depth here for the products to swedge into so they fit tight. Most of your doors are going to have the window run channels, everything already in them. If you are getting ready to do away with the vent window though, you're going to need to work to create a new window channel for that. And I know there's a lot of kits out there that have everything already in place. I've shown the channels that I've bent up, and I've got them mounted inside of here. You can see this one back here. I've got this one over here. The thing that we got to do is, like, I have my fake window, and I want that to fit in those tracks, and they need to be parallel with one another as you're going up and down. So it's like whatever you have to do to make that parallel. I have this one mounted from in here. You know, since it's a all wood framed car, there was an extra bolt hole here to hold the wood together. So I have this set up with a bolt going into my track, another bolt here with a little bracket bolted onto the track. The other side has a screw holding it in place right back there so that it won't move around. That's what you got to have, is everything's got to be connected up. You got to have some kind of a fake window in there, however it is, so that you can verify you got the regulator mounted at the right depth and everything else in place for you. So yeah, it's just the little stuff that gets you, and it takes a ton of time to get done. I already have this door complete. This door, all the parts are cut, welded, put together. So I'm about to finish up the doors on this car, finally. All right, so you can see, got my window motor, regulator assembly all mounted in here. It's actually a piece of 16 gauge metal, so it's fairly thick. And it's just spot welded to this piece of light gauge channel here, but this thing is super stiff now. I did have to bolt it in with 1/4 inch bolts on each side. I did that with both of these braces. This just holds the top of the channel to keep everything lined up good, and it'll give us a spot to mount our inside door handle and build off of for a bracket for our window switches when that time comes. I guess it'd probably be on this end since this is the front of the car. Super simple. Just try not to make things too complicated. I did that for a long time, worried about how I was going to do this, how I was going to do that, and when it all came down to it, is really fairly straightforward. Just required a little bit of fabrication to get us there. All right, so another section in this door video, we are installing a shaved door handle, power door actuator kit, whatever you want to call it. It's I guess Spall calls it a shaved door kit. So if you want to get rid of your door handles, this is kind of what you're going to be using. And the kit comes very complete. It has all your wiring for the doors, all the wiring going to the module right here. Everything is fused already. Got your keyed remotes so you can open your doors, and they have multiple functions you can program into them. Then the relay setups are already put together, so they're easy enough to mount. Comes with this power actuator, which is anybody that works on new cars will see this as pretty much just a power door lock actuator. So they're very strong. It's a bidirectional electric motor, so you know it's really going to pull all the time, but you could mount this horizontal or vertical. You just want to make sure the little plunger is facing up if you mount it vertical. Then comes with this little kind of thin bracket here to mount it. You got a rod here that you could bend. That's what I did in the 35 doors. You could also crimp cable and put cable together if you needed to do it that way. It's a very complete and easy to install kit. So far, all I have mounted is this component. I haven't done the complete wiring, so we'll just have to do that when we start wiring this whole old 35 Chevy up to make everything function. All right, at this point, we got the window mechanism all works in the door, so we're moving on to the latch. And I do have to get this all bolted in. I'd already built this little box for it and everything. I have a screw that's stripped, so I'm not gonna tighten that down all the way, but everything else seems to be good. We're functioning nice. Now, the next part of the plan is we've got to take the bidirectional motor and we've got to mount it, and I'm going to try to mount it down pretty low inside this door. They do send a nice little super thin mounting strap that screws into here, and we can put our holes into the door to screw that down. They send all the hardware and everything, makes it super easy. There is a metal rod that goes from here and it connects into our bear claw up here. And we'll go ahead and get our actuator mounted, then cut the rod and bend it to length to put it in, and we should be golden at that point. All right, guys, so you can see we have the bear claw latch back here, and this rod is really tight in with our window run channel, but it's right there, and it goes down and connects to that bidirectional motor there, which will be our door actuator. Have the wiring in the bottom of the door. It's still all got to be run up through the door to the front. I will have to put an emergency get out on this thing, like a cable or something, and I will have to connect a rod from the lever up here up and connect her into our bar in here somewhere, so we have a lever on the inside of the car to open it. So everything works pretty well. I would love to have these where I could simulate everything working on them just perfectly, but it's not going to happen in this video. At this point, I've got all of the fabrication done. The parts are built, the doors are bolted together, so that now I can go back and redo what bodywork I need to redo. I'm going to have to sandblast and strip these things, get all the old primer off, get all the rust off, and then we're going to treat them inside and out. I'll probably do the Dynamat type product. I don't know. Dad had a Fat Mat kit that he had bought a long time ago that he never used, so we may put Fat Mat on the insides of these, but the doors will definitely have to be cleaned up. I mean, it looks rusty, but it's really not. It's just kind of from years of being exposed. We'll get all this clean so we can put a fresh coat of primer on the inside, then that Fat Mat will stick really good. We have all this stuff done. it's not too bad. And like I said earlier in the video, that Ball Street Rod Products, I mean, their stuff is like the simplest kit I've ever installed on one of these cars to get it in there and get it lined up and working. Main thing is make sure your window will move up and down freely without anything attached to it. Then you know that that window motor kit is not going to have to put a bunch of stress on something that's binding up. I think that it's ready to move on to the next product or project, which is going to be that body work, stripping it down to bare metal, redoing the roof on that car. I've got to figure out some seats and start looking at the wiring and getting all that stuff installed in it. So, hey, if you like the content, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, hit that post notification, make sure it's turned on so you know when we're putting new stuff out here. And guys, we'll catch you on the next one.